Looks like everything's working. Everything looks good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wheelchair Wednesday. I had to think about that one. I'm your host, Wheelchair Rick. I'm a T3, T4 paraplegic. Accident was in 2019, and ever since then, I've wanted to come live with you guys to share people's stories about how they get through their day-to-day lives in a wheelchair. So before we get into our next guest, real special guest, by the way, let's go ahead and roll the intro, and we'll go from there. All right, so this guest that we have on here, I was going to say first guest. We only have one. This guest that we have coming up is literally one of the first guys that I tried to interview. At the time, I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing, so everything kept messing up. We had to keep restarting everything. But now that we have everything working and everything sounds good, looks good, audio visuals are great, we are finally able to have him back. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to my friend, Ricky Mercado.
Yo, what up, guys? My name's Ricky Mercado. I'm a C5-6 quadriplegic. I was in a drinking and driving car accident 6 years ago that left me paralyzed from the chest down. But ever since then, I've been liking to spread positivity and living your best life.
Nice. I like that. I like how you just straight went to my first question, and guys just got it out of the way. You're just like, yep, that's me. That's what happened. And here I am. So how has life been, man? I seen you, you got a YouTube channel, obviously. Everybody's going to be, able, if they haven't seen it, it'll be in the description of this video. So go ahead and click it, check his stuff out. How has life been since the move and everything else? Because I know you moved to a new house, got a new chair you just got. How's everything been with you?
Right, yeah. So moving out of the country has definitely been such a blessing, living out there is nice and quiet and everything, but, it's you can't get around much places. You're out in the middle of nowhere. So being in town is a lot better. It's, just not now that it's winter, but when there's no snow, I love going out, cruising around town, smoking, just chilling, listening to music all over town, so those are the biggest perks about moving into town. So it's been really great.
Right. Well, especially town, and I actually did the opposite of you. I moved from the city and came to the country. So I'm just like, I was so done with people and everything. I'm just like, I got to be out here. But the other perks of like town is let's say you want to go off for like like you said, like a little night run or something. Now you got lights. But what happens if all of a sudden something happens to you now? But at least you're in town, so at least you got people that can see you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Heck yeah, man. Well, it sounds good. I'm glad to have you on again. You know what I mean? The first time we tried this wasn't very successful, but hopefully this will go a lot better.
I'm glad you ended up figuring that out. I'm happy to be on here anytime. So
for sure, man. So let's go to the next question, which is pretty much it's kind of a weird question. A lot of people answer this the way that people wouldn't think you would answer it, but if you could go back and change that day or night that it happened to you, and then, you know what I mean, just go do it all over again and not be injured, would you start over from there, or would you just continue life now as you are because of what you've learned and been through?
That's a really good question because, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be the person that I am today or think the way I do today, After this happened to me, it really made me think about life and what, life is really about, and if I go back to that night, the only thing I would change to prevent this is to just stay sleeping, because I had gotten home that night and was already asleep, but I ended up waking up and still leaving that night. I was still intoxicated and things went bad. But at the same time, I still think that this was meant to happen for me because, it was too early to go, and God had better plans for me. So,
right, like he had a better path for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
The path I was on before the wheelchair and everything, it was just nothing but destruction, and
right.
Being in this chair has really made me think and mature a lot more.
Right. So you would stay where you're at now?
Yeah, I would.
Nice. I'm with you. I'm with you. I feel the same way. Thank you, Becky Nichols, for that. Oh yeah. By the way, this is live, just in case you guys didn't know. Try to do one at least once every week. So yeah, look forward to it. And if you would like to be on one of these, go ahead and hit me up, or go to Ricky's page, SCI Life, and say, hey, what's up with that show you guys did? Okay. So third question is, I know we've talked to you about this before, is dating/married. Now, I kind of know more about this than other people do, but why don't you go ahead and tell people about your experience with that?
Well, thankfully for me, I've always been a positive person, and you know, I've always been sure of myself, and when it comes to the girls too, you gotta know how to talk to them. Dating in the beginning, I didn't really try dating in the beginning because I was barely starting to find myself again and who I was, trying to live my own life. And these past couple years, I've dated a couple girls, and they've went on pretty well. But I think, when it comes to dealing with an injury, you first got to learn how to love yourself. So that's why I think my other relationships didn't work out, because I wasn't even too sure about myself. I was insecure too, and so you got to get over those little things too before you do start dating. Don't just rush into it, because then you will just be insecure and think that just dumb shit while you're in a chair. A lot of people can relate, I think, but I think it's been pretty easy. It's been different, yeah, but still there's still similarities from when I was walking to now. A lot of things are different, but
Your
at the same
confidence,
time,
your confidence is still sky high.
oh yeah.
That ain't sat down or shrank at all, has it?
Oh no, not even in the beginning. I've always had confidence. I think that's the number one thing to being in a wheelchair is you got to have the confidence in order to approach the girls, message a girl, anything like that. Because if you don't have confidence, she's gonna see right through that and not even be interested. So you got to
Right.
be confident about yourself.
Right, for sure. All right. Next question is pet peeves. What's your biggest pet peeve about being in a wheelchair?
My biggest pet peeve about being in a wheelchair is people thinking and asking if I can still walk. Like I wouldn't be in this wheelchair if I could walk. Or they always think or assume my legs are broken, and I'm like, no, my neck is broken. So I
Right.
think being asked if um, will you ever walk again? I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and like to play on you, and like normally, like when I talk to people, it's funny out of the responses that I get, because it kind of strikes up some stuff in my head where I think about it. You know what I mean? And I've had so many people where it's one of my pet peeves where they're like talking about, oh, well, if you just pray really hard and if you just do the work, I mean, I bet you could. You just got to try. You know what I mean? And I'm like thinking the whole time, like, dude, listen. If I had feeling and I could like move a little bit, then maybe, yeah. But like, I'm completely, you know what I mean? Like, it's a complete for a reason. You can't just will
Well,
yourself to do it.
like even me, like even after 2 years, like, I was able to regain function in my right leg.
Yeah.
A sensation, a lot of sensation back. But at the same time, a lot of people's injury is different. Whether that's regaining sensation, regaining your bladder, or regaining to walk again. Every injury is different, so you're always going to regain something different. You
Right.
know?
Right. Yep. And that's kind of where like I tell people too, like, it's not about looking back and saying, oh man, I wish I couldn't have done something different, or maybe, maybe I can walk and I just gotta like, dude, first of all, just live the life. You know what I mean? You gotta embrace the
Exactly.
suck. You gotta embrace the suck in order to move on and progress. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. How else are you to live?
Right. Exactly. You got two choices, and when you wake up in that hospital bed, you know what I mean? Every one of
Exactly.
us has to go through it.
It's either stay down, or do something about it.
Right.
Because doing something about it's gonna get you out of whatever the hell you're feeling. As
Right.
long as you're trying.
Yeah. Yep. Next question I have is, what is something that you wish you could do that you can no longer do? Like you wish you could do again that you can no longer do?
Right. I'd say, like, to be honest, is to go take a shit. You know what I mean? That's
Oh man,
that's
I
the
have
number
not
one
heard
thing I
that.
wish I could do. Literally, like, I mean, I'm thankful I have my pops, to help me with everything I need and all that. But at the same time, I did used to walk again. I used to shower myself, wipe my own ass, all that, So not being able to do those things kind of does suck every day. You have to relive everything, So bathing myself, like standing up and taking a shit. And actually, I actually peed the other day standing up in my chair, but also peeing standing up.
It's funny because
I already accomplished that.
we were watching your video earlier, me and my fiance, and she kind of made the joke like you could just move around the house, you could pee standing up, and I'm like, you probably could do that in that chair.
I did last night. Yep.
Nice.
And actually this morning I did it again.
What'd it feel like? Was it weird?
It was great actually.
He's like, it's fantastic. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I think when mine comes up for, you get like so many. I think it's 5 years. You get like another one. Well, you get to reevaluate it for another one. That's if you have insurance. I mean, like a lot of people don't have the insurance that we did, which it sucks, man, because it's like you see people all the time that are like, man, I wish I had something like that, or and you're like, damn, I wish I could help you. You know what I mean? But there's hundreds of people, yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's what I wish I could start something to help people like that. And
like a nonprofit.
Exactly. That's what I really want to do is to, down in the future, I want to really start helping more people that are in situations that don't have insurance, that can't get a chair. I want to help them get a chair, a shower chair. I want to help them even try to get an accessible house. But that's like down in the future, but that's one of my big goals because it's true. There's tons of people that have disabilities, spinal cord injuries, that don't have the proper needs, set to them.
Right. Man, I think I think we were both talking before, like we both kind of started doing YouTube around the same time. So I mean, both me and you are starting to become a little bit of an influence, I guess, just a tiny little sliver, maybe, hopefully, of a bit.
Like I said, you got to start somewhere, right?
Right. So I think maybe, man, like I was talking about doing that too. We can maybe put our heads together and think of something. I mean, eventually, you know what I mean? We get enough people into it. I don't see why not.
We definitely have to get on another call, after the live or something, and definitely talk about these things.
For sure. I'm down.
It's always better with the partner,
100%. Yep. So the next question I have for you is, a lot of us deal with chronic pain, nerve pain, different stuff like that. What's the pain level like? Do you got any pain from day to day? How does that work?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, even on, like, I've noticed ever since I got this chair, my old chair was really, like, bringing me down and, causing my lower back pain, the way I was positioned. This chair really helped a lot because I'm able to stand up and reposition, where I'm supposed to go.
Uh-huh.
So I used to deal with a whole lot of back pain, spasms. You've seen them, but after getting this chair, these past 2 days have been literally great. Like my spasms have went away. My lower back pain has helped a lot. So
right. Well, it's good for your body function too, man. Definitely.
Right. Yes.
Heck yeah. Man, watching you in that video and talking about it now, man, I'm just like, man, I should have got that damn F5.
Right. Wait, did you already get your new wheelchair? Or
no,
what?
well, no. They when I came home from the hospital, they showed me the F3 because that was the first one they showed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can get one of these, and they're like, yeah, you can get one. Like you got to pick which one though, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, and they brought one to my house, and it was an F3, and it was black and yellow, and it reminded me of Bumblebee, and I'm just like, this is so awesome. I just fell in love with it. And I'm like, I need this. Like, I want it.
And you get another evaluation then, or what?
I will. I think it's 5 years, so it'll take a while. I think I got this one around the end of 2020, so it'll be a little bit, and it's still a good chair. You know what I mean? I can't stand up in it. That's the only thing.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, I have everything you have except for being able to stand up.
To stand, right.
Yeah. I just wish these damn things had wider tires. I've been stuck so much in the snow. It's horrible. You know about that too.
I feel you about that, bro.
Yep. All right. So, what is the thing that helped you the most after your injury? So, after you got injured, like what kind of helped you, like the most, kind of keep it together?
Well, for one is God really, really helped me out through my injury, and it wasn't even that even in the beginning of my injury, I didn't, I've always been a follower of God, Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
But towards the line, like 2 years down, is where I was really like in a really dark place, and that's where I really started building my connection with God. So ever since then, that's what literally got me out of my funk. I can't give credit to anything else because that's literally praying every day, reading my Bible. And before I even started reading my Bible, it was just praying every day. Praying
Right.
to God. And um, I literally started seeing some of my prayers get answered in front of my eyes. So that literally deepened my connection with Him and made me want to follow Him even more. So I think that's the number one thing that did get me out of my funk, out of the depression, and made me actually start living my life again.
Right. Right, for sure. Everybody watching, I want to say, hey, what's up, Wesley? What's up, Jeremy? Thank you, Becky, for commenting. Appreciate it. And I seen you said you were Erica's mom. That's awesome. Now, I was gonna say, yeah, the thing about the God and praying is, I've always been a believer, and I've never really prayed for a whole lot, just to kind of keep me going and keep us safe and stuff like that. But one night before this happened, it was actually not even probably 4 or 5 days before my accident happened. I prayed to God to change my life, to come into my life and seriously wrap his arms around me and change the way I was living and change my life. I was willing to drop it all and let him do it. And I remember just sitting there with a beer, drunk, half drunk, like, praying to God. And then 4 days later, this happened or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And at first I'm thinking, like, I didn't think about it until after I was back in the hospital and they had me off all the drugs. And I'm like, I prayed for this. Like, I prayed for this. Like, what? What kind of sense of humor is that? That's not very funny. You know what I mean? But now that I'm sitting here and I'm looking back at it all, it's like, wow. Like, I completely shifted paths. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
whole
and
nother road.
that's how you can see God's work right there.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's crazy. It literally is crazy how it worked out. But like you said before, you wouldn't change anything.
Right. Yep. So the next question I got for you is, what were your hobbies before you got in your accident? And then do you still do those hobbies, or do you have new hobbies that you do now?
Well, even before my accident, I always used to love to paint and draw, and I still do that till this day. So painting, drawing. I love I love freestyling. I love.
Bro, we got to do that too. We got to get together and do some
We gotta
raps.
plan something, but I only love freestyling when I'm chilling, hanging and having a couple drinks. That's the only time I can freestyle.
Yeah,
But I
I'm with
love
you.
it too. I
Yeah.
love it. But yeah, I'd say those are the main hobbies.
You got to be in the mood. You can't just off the top of the head. I mean, I used to be
Exactly.
able to if I was trying to impress people, but nowadays I'm just old and I'm like, man, I can't be doing that no more. Brandon Pickens, what's up, my brother? It's one of the good guys there. Always an avid watcher.
Oh, but I've heard your music too. I love your music's pretty dope, and we definitely got to do that sometime on a live or something.
Yeah, thanks, man. In 2017, I came out with what I think is one of the best creative works that I've ever put together. Like, and it was mostly just me and like a few of my friends. And, it's right after like the accident, right before the accident, I was working on other stuff. Thank you for that share, Brandon. I was working on different songs and different things, and I had some really good stuff, and I've actually came across some video I took, but it's like now, after we moved and like after my accident, I have no idea like where my stuff is. Like, I have some of it, but I don't know where like all my Avid boxes are. Like, I might have lost all of my stuff, but if I have to start over, I will. You know what I mean? That's just one of the things where you got to kind of get back on the horse. You know what I mean? You can't let it define you.
Exactly. Well, if you do start that back up, you definitely better start posting. I want to hear it.
For sure. I want to get on there. That's just another thing on the long list of things to do. You know what I mean? You always got to stay busy. That's what I think. You always got to have something to do.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to lay there in that damn hospital bed all day and probably develop pressure sores and depression and everything else.
Yeah, brother. I know the best of that because the first 2 years, that's where I spent. Right in the hospital, right in my bed, just fucking being depressed. Why me?
Right.
So.
Yep.
Can't do that.
What is your feeling on like travel? Would you like to travel? Do you like traveling? Like, how does traveling work with you on your body? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work for you?
So I've only traveled one time. while being injured, and that was just to Indiana. And I went to camp there. That was the best time. It was worth the travel. But the way there was cake. I have my van, so I was in my wheelchair. On the way back though, I ended up coming in my dad's truck
Oh
and just riding
gosh.
in the seat, and my dad would put my chair in the back. So that wasn't too bad actually. I was still able to pee and everything right, but my ass did get a little bit sore. But I say if it's the right accommodations, it would be okay to travel. But if it's not like the right back, it wasn't too fun. But I was able to manage it. But other level of injuries probably won't be able to manage that many hours just riding there. Ass sore without pressure sores or anything. But
I mean, yeah, that's my biggest thing is like here where I live at in Michigan, our roads are completely just abominated. Like they're holes everywhere, potholes everywhere, just uneven surfaces, and it's people that live in Michigan, my fellow Michiganders understand what I mean by that. Like it's just horrible. So it's like
right.
after driving for an hour and a half, it's like, your spine is just done. It's like my back hurts so bad when I got like errands to run. But if I was like going and traveling to a different state where the roads were nice and smooth and, probably where you're from, I don't know, they're probably nice and smooth. But
Yeah, I live in a real small town, so other roads they're pretty decent.
yeah. Um, One of my actually, before we do that, we already talked about the wheelchair, so it's an F5, Permobile F5. Do you got a name for it yet?
No, I don't. I'm still thinking about it, so
Still
not
thinking
yet.
about it? You got to let us
Yeah,
know
what's
when
your
that happens.
wheelchair's name?
Actually, I got a whole Michigan license plate for it and everything. Johnny 5. You ever seen the old movie called Short Circuit about the robot that comes to life?
No, I haven't.
Man, you're gonna have to watch that. It's a classic. It was made in 1986. It's called Short Circuit, and it's about this military robot that kind of looks like a power chair. He gets hit by lightning, and then he comes to life, and he develops like a conscience, and they keep trying to tear him apart, and he's like, "No disassemble," and it's hilarious, dude. You would love it.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's great. But it just reminded me of that. Like, his tracks remind me of, like, a power track chair or something. So I was like, dude, I'm definitely naming this chair Johnny 5. I've had a few people get it, too. They're like, I love that. What do you do for fitness? How do you stay in shape?
Me, to be honest, I don't really do anything for fitness. Before I would, like, the only thing I really do to stay, like, not get a big belly or anything is just eat once a day.
Yeah.
But I do plan on starting to work out and, eating healthier. So this year I want to start working out and eating healthier. But for now, like, I don't know the first thing that comes to that, and now I get to be able to stand up in my wheelchair. So that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I know that'll help out with keeping your, blood flowing easier and everything else. Your digestive system will work better. Cause
Right.
I mean, the quad and the parabellies, man, they're a thing. And it's like, I have people all the time like, man, you got fat. And I'm like, well, I mean, kind of, but that's not really all fat. That's just jumbled up intestines. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you got to explain it to them. And they're like, oh, my gosh.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, that's going to bring me to the last question of the day, which I think is pretty important. Like I said, when I was in the hospital, that's the first thing I did is I went to YouTube. I searched in, T3, T4 paraplegic. What do I have to look forward to? Like what to expect. So if somebody clicked on your video of, let's say you made a video called advice, that you would give, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give to a newly injured person?
The biggest piece, and the one that I live by is do not get sucked up in your depression. Like, okay, the first couple of weeks I give you, yeah, you're able to feel sad, but after that, it's time to start grinding on your mental health. And if you have good mobility, start grinding even more on that. Because the worst thing you can do is to stay in that depression. So I say just be depressed for a couple of weeks, and after that, try your best to get out of it. Go for a stroll, get out, get some air. Don't stay stuck in your house too. That's the worst.
Oh yeah. Yep, for sure. I do 100% agree with that. I was just gonna say something else and it totally skipped my mind. But
and don't get stuck in the past as well. You gotta forget your old life.
Oh no, that's what it is. You just reminded me. So that's what I was gonna say is that it's almost like you're grieving for yourself, your former self. So your former self dies, like a part of like your old self dies. That's it, and you're grieving the loss of your old self. So now you're starting all over again with this new life. I mean, that's kind of spot on. I forget who said that, but it was spot on. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yep. All right, sir. Well, geez, oh, Pete's, man, it's about time. We got it done. We got through the interview. Didn't clip out once. We ain't got to go back and splice nothing. It all worked out gravy. Thank you, all of our live viewers. Once again, if you know somebody or if you yourself are in a wheelchair and you want to jump on here, just hit me or Ricky up and let us know. And he'll let me know, and we'll get you on here. Anything else you'd like to leave the viewers with?
Always remember, broken crayon, still color.
I like that. I like that. All right, Ricky Mercado, everybody. Thank you. Now remember, this is a live show. We'll be on next week with a new guest. Ricky, stay with me. I'm going to hit the intro, and then we will catch up. Everybody else, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.